welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's our typical Saturday Bolo video. We're going to do the Bizarro Bolo today. To anybody new to the channel, the Bizarro Bolo is, usually we do the Bolo videos where I go through and I find items of mine that I want to talk about, and Mr. Magazine finds items of his that he wants to talk about. Every once in a while, we mix it up, and I find items of his, and he finds items of mine that strike our interest. I know the format on this looks a little bit different than usual. Sorry about that. We're actually shooting this before our live show, which you definitely should check out every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, just because of scheduling issues. But why don't you take it away, Mr. Magazine? The first item I had a question for you about is Bigfoot, Loch Ness, and Other Mysterious Monsters 1985 mag.
Yes.
Now, that's a magazine?
Technically, no, it's a digest, and my employee did not list it properly.
Oh, what did they do wrong on it?
Well, I would have said digest. It is a digest.
Okay, because it looks to me almost like one of those books, like the Scholastic book kind of thing. And that was what kind of jumped out at me, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, this came with the Ohio Sci-Fi Monster Collection, so we just started dipping into that a little more lately.
So that's like an actual digest would have been sold in the magazine section?
Oh, no, it looks like it's more like a convention fanzine or something like that.
Fanzine. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It definitely jumped out at me, and I see you put it up for auction.
Mm-hmm.
The price does seem a little bit low, and I think you had seen that when I first popped up on screen.
I gave him a bunch of digests, and most of them were just common stuff, so I just put them at a flat price, $16.99.
Mm-hmm.
If I separated them, I probably would have put $20, $25 on this one, and I probably would have got it, but, still a nice piece, made some money.
Well, bottom line, you paid $1.50 or whatever he paid on it.
Right.
Per piece, you got $17 off. After everything, you made $10. But I think
it's newer too, 1985. It's not a like 1960s piece or anything like that.
I think the big lesson is when you do find these, and I'm sure it probably isn't well made.
No, right.
And so when you will find things like this out there, I always jump all over them. I always buy them right away, just because the production run is so low on them, and anybody that collects them would definitely be interested.
Yeah. Anything oddball is a must. Scarf it up.
Next item we have, whoa, hey now.
Hey.
What's she doing there?
Exactly.
1950s pinup, black and white, risque photo, 3.5 by 5.5, blonde posing, sexy cheesecake. And I brought that up only because I wanted you to quickly go over what can be listed on regular eBay now.
So, I bought a huge collection, actually, week after week, month after month. A big collector's been selling off his collection to me. He's retiring. And I've been stockpiling this stuff. And I said, enough is enough. Let's get it on. Let's list what we can on eBay. We know they're a little fussy about their rules, so we called up. Anything clothed, obviously, is a go. You can definitely list anything if they're clothed. You can't have any naughty keywords or some stuff you can't say, so we covered that with them. You can show upper body, nudity, just like you wouldn't a Playboy or.
But where would you list that at?
The regular photo section is the category.
Oh, there's a category. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just like if you're watching a B movie where they have nudity, it's the same thing. Anything lower body is a no-go from what they say, whether it's frontal, man or woman, or
back as well.
And rear end as well. So.
Okay.
So what I did was I sorted them all out as far as
what could be and couldn't be.
Fully clothed. Then I got upper body, and then no go would go on my website, and everything else goes on eBay. So,
okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So far it's been working. We've been selling them. So.
Okay. Yeah, that was why I brought that up, because I was kind of curious about that. The next item I brought up for you is Majorette Metal Fire Truck Red 1/64 scale. What year would this be? Any idea?
If I'm gonna guess, mid to late 80s. Yeah.
And I know Majorette's one of the off brands. It was a brand that I had a lot of growing up.
Yeah, sure.
What would something like this be if it were a Hot Wheel from that generation? If Fire Truck Hot Wheel?
Yeah, I mean, probably minimum $20-$25, I would say. Matchbox is probably going to be worth a little more, 15 to 20. And then we're talking basic stuff, nothing rare.
Yeah, right. Just a common fire truck.
Yeah, and this is probably the end of their run, Majorette, before they probably went under. I would think late 80s is probably the end of it for them. So
I brought that up, and the reason why was because you can find stuff like this out there, but people aren't going to put a premium on it because it's not Hot Wheels.
Well, even if it's out of package and it's $1 in mint condition, I would still buy it and put it up for $10. You'd probably still sell it.
Just because there's fire truck collectors and the like.
Exactly.
The next item I had up is Christina Aguilera, the Christmas song, 33 RPM. And I brought it up for two different reasons. I brought it up to illustrate the fact that Christmas stuff does sell all year round because these items that I'm bringing up sold for you second week of January.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know that Christmas sells. It is Christmas all year round. But the other question I had for you is, why did you list this on eBay? Because you don't list very many records. So I was wondering if there was a reason why you listed this.
We always have issues with like singles. This looks like it's a single with the cover there. And Amazon's real fussy about that. It might not have been in their inventory. So we just threw it up there. There's not going to be any issues. The picture is what it is. It's not going to be a stock photo on Amazon. And we just went with that.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of wondering if there was a reason behind it.
Sure.
Well, there was. Yeah. And the last one I had up over here just kind of caught my eye. It just looks really neat. Yeah. Chopper Tunes Volume 1, Number 1, Summer 1971, Vintage Cartoon Comic. And again, that one for some reason seems low price to me also.
I think the condition of it.
Okay.
If you look at it, I think there's writing on it. There's some tearing in a corner, some writing there too. So
okay.
It was a little rough. I probably would have put 30 to 40 on it, started out easy, for sure if it was better shape.
Okay, I just have never seen that title before, and it's
the number one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely in high grade, it'd probably be $100.
Okay.
So I think he listed it as acceptable as well.
Right. Yeah, and I read he does write acceptable, and then writes up what the condition on it. So those are the ones that I wanted to kind of ask you about, and I see you had a few things to ask me about.
I do. All right. First up, Wells Fargo and Company unused check 1880s. It's very cool that. Do you think they ever remade these? So you're looking at it's unused. How could one get unused from 100-something years ago? Very cool though, right?
Well, my first question, and I always worry about things like this, listing things like Wells Fargo, American Express brochures, all those things like that is it going to trigger something with eBay that you're trying to get something through American Express? You're trying to have somebody pay you by a money order. You're trying to, and that's always the concern when I'm listing these, and I'm always a little hesitant about listing them. Sure. And sure enough, a lot of times you do get warnings on it that say, you're not allowed to solicit for money orders and all this stuff. I don't want a money order. I want to sell this from 1880s.
Well, very cool. It's unused from 1880s, and who knows? Maybe if you put $50, it would have sold. Who knows?
That's true too. Yeah.
Is it something you got multiples of? Like
no, I just had one. It was just in a lot of stuff that I bought, and it was just kind of throwing in there. And I said, I don't know what else to do. I do have a lot of checks that I have sold through a number of years ago, and I think I've related this story before. Somebody reached out to me on eBay and said, "You saw a lot of paper. I got a lot of checks. You interested?" I'm like, "Sure." And he sold me this giant box of checks for $100. Cool. It was somebody's check collection. He didn't care about it. And they usually sell for $10 to $15 a piece. So because this was Wells Fargo and older, I actually listed it at a higher price point than I did the other one. So I did list it higher. Maybe I didn't list it high enough.
Now, if it were signed, would it make any bit of difference? Because you're talking about a signature from someone from 140 years ago.
Only if it were someone famous. Okay. Otherwise, nobody really cares. Gotcha. Next item was?
Well, just because Super Bowl's around the corner, I thought this was pretty cool. The stadium, drew my attention, and I was just curious if it said what stadium it was.
Saturday Evening Post, October 1st, 1938. No, it did not. It did not say on that. Now, this is something or other that I would definitely put in one of my anti-Bolo videos.
Right.
Only because of the poor picture. And that was back in the day before I had the CZUR Scanner. And I've promised before I'm going to show a video on the CZUR Scanner, and I'm still going to do it. But that was just a poor cropping job on my part because at the time I just had a regular size scanner. Gotcha. But no, it didn't mention that. And it was a tough one because, Connie Mack, I should have put him first as opposed to Gypsy Truckers or Lucian Carey. But it wasn't like a hot issue as far as not a lot of keywords. Right. So you just kind of, somebody's bought it and that's nice. Yeah. But I don't think they bought it for Lucian Carey.
Yeah, I don't know if it was college, what college it would be, College Stadium. Pretty cool.
The next item?
All right. I just thought it was really cool. Bon Jovi. I usually try to charge more even on the free stuff because it's very limited edition. I don't know if you went with that price and if that was auction, that's all it went for.
Yeah, I probably did undersell this just because they're not. Again, like you said, it was only in the Nashville area. The Metro was a Nashville magazine, and I picked them up right. I think I bought 6 of them for like $12, so I had $2 each into them. So I was into them right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I probably did leave some money on the table.
Sometimes music's tricky too. You think it's better than it is sometimes, or sometimes you don't think it's as good as way better. So it's hit and miss there.
I think what it was I think I had 6 of them, if I remember right. And I just started listing them, and I just said, I'm not going to change the price. I'll list them all at $28, $21. And some of them had lesser people on the cover than Bon Jovi also.
It looks like a first issue too, right? Volume 1, number 1 on the left there. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, I guess small, you are. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you are. So, so this has suddenly turned into an anti-Bolo video and what I did wrong video. Thank you for that. Next item we have up is...
Just thought it was a great cover. She sells no matter what country, what cover, so you can't go wrong with Marilyn.
Marie Claire, January 2005, Marilyn Monroe. And it's funny that you brought this one up because we do an Instagram daily. And if you haven't checked out our Instagram, definitely do. We're shooting this in the middle of January, and this actually was what my Instagram was today. I showed this, and the person bought this in a different Marilyn Monroe magazine. And the funny thing is, I believe this is Norwegian, if I remember right, or is it? Yeah, something like Norwegian. And the person also bought a German magazine. Now, could the person speak both Norwegian and German? Yeah, they could, but they're also in America. So I find it unlikely that they can read all of those languages. But rather, I think that they were a big fan of Marilyn, and so they purchased it because they don't have this, and they didn't have the German one in their collection. So, as I said in the Instagram, you'll always make money buying somebody like a Marilyn Monroe, no matter what language it's in, because people do collect her. And the last item we have today?
I just picked this out because I think this is a good what not to buy.
That's so funny because we do have an anti-Bolo video coming up, and this indeed was something that I put in it. Yes. And one of the things that I talked about, and do check our anti-Bolo videos out as well, but one of the things that I put in there is I said, what else could I have said? Heavy bag and throw the word arcade in.
Right,
because it's an arcade card also and a heavy bag. Yeah. There's not a lot you could possibly say about
this. Black and white.
Right? Yeah, B/W. Yeah. And the reason why, I mean, I believe I bought these off of you, and these were doubles. I believe you had gotten a pile of these back in 2013, and these were the doubles that I went through, and I said, well, what am I going to do with them? So I listed it. It took 9 years to sell. Right. So definitely not hot by any means whatsoever. I guess if you do have these, definitely do comps on them and try to make sure, because I'm sure somebody is rarer than other people, or if you have somebody really famous, it's a different story. But otherwise, probably just save them, put them in a lot, and just be happy to move them on out, let somebody get them. Because I know that the Westerns and those things generally go for $1, $2 a piece in lots. I mean, some of the sports cards ones, the baseball ones, some of those are, you got the stat back variants and all that stuff. Some of those are rarer, but generally speaking, they're not good things to list all by themselves. Right. Sure. So hopefully you like the Bizarro Bolo. Do hit the like button down below. Do comment. And I think the one interesting thing that this shows is Mr. Magazine's been doing this a long time, and he picked out things that I have in the anti-Bolo video as well. So he was able to see what's not worth listing and what's not worth selling, and poor listing habits as well. So it ties into where you definitely do want to check those videos out, because if 2 experienced sellers pick the same thing out and say this is a terrible thing, and as you said, something not to list, it's definitely worth you checking those videos out, because you'll say, oh yeah, I'm not going to list that. I am going to walk by it. And it saves you time and it saves you money. And that's worth the price of admission right there. Sure. So do hit the like button if you could. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.